Hello, I am Lucas Paquetá.
Massive!
I'm very happy to be here. Come on, you guys.
Massive!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Boleyn Lounge Tuesday talk show. Joined with Mick and Budgie tonight. Thanks for joining me, guys. Good to see you.
Good evening.
Hi, Budge.
All right, boys.
And I just wanted to say I haven't asked for subscribers meaningfully over the last few weeks, but we have had an extra few subscribers. So I just wanted to thank those for jumping on board and the rest of you for continuing to support us. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to jump on board and give us some support the channel, then we'd love to have you. And with that said, I'm going to move on to the show and talk about last night's game. Go on, Budge.
One more thing. It's free to subscribe, everybody.
Sure.
It's free. It don't cost you a penny. But it helps Jeff out. Go for it. Sorry, mate.
Thanks for that, Budgie. Still a novice at this.
No, so am I.
And on to last night's game. So I take it everyone watched it, and pretty positive feedback from the fan base overall. One or two that weren't completely happy with it. But I think with Potter's limited resources, the opposition that he's faced in the last two games, I think he's done a great job. The boys have done really well. But give us your insight into the game last night, guys. I don't know which of you want to jump in there.
Go on, Mick.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I'm a happy hammer. Yeah. I actually enjoyed watching West Ham for the first time in a long time. Yeah. A fantastic game of football from us, considering, as you said, Jeff, you know, we had square pegs and round holes as Soler playing on the left, sort of as I don't know what he'd be, a midfielder come false attacker. I loved his little turn on James there and left him for dead, which I never thought he had.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a happy thing to watch. We know that, we were up against it with Soufal and Creswell at centre halves. Yeah, and yet somehow or other, under Potter, everyone seems to have an extra yard. Everyone seems to be trying a little bit harder, and now we've got a centre forward, for how long I don't know, but we've got a centre forward, a decent centre forward. We had it for 6 months, and that's a start.
Yeah.
All positive. You said just there that most fans were happier. I read something about an hour ago that really fucking pissed me off, I've got to say, from one of these people that constantly writes about West Ham on the internet and stuff. He gave Jarrod Bowen a 9 out of 10. Fair enough. Like, if he thought he was a 9 out of 10, fair enough. He played really well. But then he gave Kudos a 5 and said, looked uninterested, looks like he didn't want to be there. You couldn't have watched the game because the man never stopped running. The negativity from some people it's too much sometimes. I mean, he made the goal. What was he watching? He's made a run. He shut Colwell down. Yeah, he didn't make the pass as such, but he made Colwell suffer. Who then made a bad mistake or made a mistake, and then Bowen capitalised on it. So,
well, he gifted Bowen the goal. He gifted Bowen the ball, but he didn't gift the goal. I mean, he took it absolutely.
What I'm saying is, it was Kudos' hard work to come down.
Force the error.
Yeah, he forced the error. Good words, Jeff.
Yeah.
The negativity has to stop. You can't keep complaining. How you can give Kudos 5 out of 10? Absolutely. Yes, he lost the ball a couple of times trying to do his stuff, but you've got to let players of his ability do his stuff because we didn't have, We didn't have the players on the pitch last night that could really open you up. But on the other hand, yeah, we knocked the ball around well, we pressurised well, we kept our shape well. Yeah, the 2 goals were crap, weren't they? Let's be fair. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first goals.
It's a free kick.
How the foul's not given on Bowen in front of the referee there? I mean, God only knows. I'm not quite on the VAR should go back to that train. There was a lot of passages of play that went along before that led to the goal. I just think the referee should see the foul and give. I don't think VAR and the goal should come into play because he should just give the bloody foul.
Yeah, the VAR is always controversial, but the rules came up on the telly after the game, and it clearly states that there are no passages of play or time that stops you from going back there. So again, from a VAR point of view, it was poor because they put the rules on the telly. So I'm sure many people watching this would have read what I read. So, but that aside, the deflection. No, look, happy. I'm just happy to see the players go out and do what they do, and just with a little bit more. Can you imagine? Was like I'll tell you who else. If you before I need to shut up, is the Gulim that come on. Yeah,
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's the first time people say he's not interested. Well, when he lost the ball out for a goal kick when he was trying to either get across to a corner and he threw the ball down in disgust that he didn't. That doesn't look like a kid to me that's not interested. So, if Potter's managed to get him interested when we've been reading for weeks that he's not interested, then, can you imagine if you had him, Somerville, and like I've said before about having Kudus and Bowen up front, can you imagine, the amount of pace we'd have going forward? It's like there's a lot of positives. It's not going to, if we end up in the top 10, we'll have done well, yeah? Or mid-table, we've still done well by the end of the season as far as I'm concerned. We're not looking downwards like we were 3-4 weeks ago. That's for sure.
You touched on the Guilherme thing, but I do want to perhaps speak about that a little bit later and elaborate on what you were touching on there. But I'm going to let Budgie come in and give his bit of analysis and viewpoint on the game.
Well, to be honest with you, Jeff, I was debuting in a new darts team last night. So I was, actually, my debut was last week, but it was my first away game last night. So I was watching the game, but my complete concentration wasn't on it. So what I watched of the game, I was very happy with what I see West Ham trying to do. I thought that the on-field changes that Potter made constantly throughout the game were correct. Unfortunately, Chelsea just had the edge when it came to the substitutes. I thought their substitutes were far more effective. But in general, I've got no complaints. I mean, we lost to a team that I don't believe that many of us thought we were going to beat. A lot of us had a good feeling about last night. And to be fair, my good feeling was that I would see a team playing cohesive, intelligent football. And I got my belief last night. From what I saw, it was cohesive, intelligent football.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. We look organised, don't we? We look like there's a plan. Andy Irvine, I think, deserves a mention. Came in for his starting debut. I messaged Tony. Tony was doing a watch along on Early Doors TV last night, and I popped into his stream at half time, and I said, Irvine looks neat and tidy. Doesn't look out of place. And I think that sums up his first half pretty well. Having said that, he was a bit more than that because he was competitive and he had a bit of bite about him and he didn't mind getting stuck in.
And
I thought he tired.
Got a bit of pace.
Yeah, he tired a little bit at the end. He got a little bit ragged at the end, 1 or 2 loose passes and one thing another. And I think he needed to be changed out at that point. But overall, I thought he'd give a pretty good account of himself. Now, I don't want to go over the top and say he's going to be, our midfield going forwards. I don't think he should be. But I think for a guy who's been on the fringes, who's just got a few token minutes here and there, often late in games, I thought he did really well.
Well, if you were 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go, you need someone to sit there and say, right, yeah, he looked ideal for that.
If you needed to have Alvarez and stick him alongside him, like you say, to see a game out, maybe even swap him out for Alvarez if Alvarez is on a booking, you could probably do worse with what's in our squad.
I think that Andy Irvin's sort of giving himself a shout for a start most weeks now.
The crowd absolutely gave him a boost as well, didn't they? The
Oh,
away fans were
great. It was
terrific
fantastic,
last
wasn't
night.
it?
So vocal, and the support
yeah,
for him, I thought, was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, even in his post-match interview, the guy said to him, how did he feel about that? And he was kind of, you could see that he was touched by it and that he felt that he belongs here. And, you know, if a player feels like that, you know that gives them an extra 10%. So
I have to say, when they were singing to Cole Palmer, you're just a shit Andy Irvin. I mean, that's top order banter from the boys there. Absolutely.
Oh, mate, you always get it from their away supporters.
Yeah, no, they were absolutely brilliant, and they were on form. But they sang his name much like they did for Ollie Scholes at Villa in the FA Cup game, and I think it's top class from our fans. So well done to them, and well done to our boys. I think we were robbed of a result last night. We at least deserved a draw. First goal shouldn't stand, should be a foul. Second goal, as you touched on, Mick, I mean, it's unlucky that deflection could have gone anywhere and loops over Areola and goes in.
Who, by the way, made an amazing save last night as well.
Oh, from Cole Palmer's free kick. Yeah, that was absolutely amazing.
That's one thing. That's one thing I've always said. You can't. He's a shot stopper. He's up there, but what a great save.
I mean, also you've also got to say what tough luck it was for Wan-Bissaka that his touch did loop into the goal.
Yeah, he had another good game, didn't he?
He had a great game again. You know, I mean, I find myself sort of tapping myself on the shoulder, saying, "Hang on a minute, you're repeating what you said last time." But I can't help it. You know, the guy has come to the club, and he has shown he's worthy of that transfer fee and more. You know,
if a player's consistent, you're always going to mention it, aren't you? That's the fact, isn't it?
That's the truth. Yeah.
And I know he's our talisman, but Bowen last night coming back, I thought was absolutely immense. And
just to see him in the starting 11 was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. But the performance he put in, I thought, was magnificent from
absolutely.
him. Really led.
And you could see he's been itching to do it and all. Do you know what I mean? It was like every moment, every time we got the ball, he was almost getting ready to burst forward and break into space and stuff. It was fantastic what I saw, you know. I mean, out of the 90 minutes plus, I probably saw 65 minutes of it, you know, but I just thought that the Bowen, I thought that Irvin, I thought Wan-Bissaka and Areola all can hold their heads high last night, every one of them.
Yeah. And I think also Souček, I mean, a lot of what he does sort of goes, it's not very glamorous and all that, but
it goes unnoticed.
Making his blocks defensively, he was really good, I thought, Souček. I say he can seem anonymous.
On the
a lot of what he does goes miss. I just want to go into the chat, and Colin's in. Good evening, Colin.
Colin.
Good evening. He says he feels we was robbed last night. Bad ref and VAR. I feel under Potter we might win things as long as he gets backing from the board. Any manager's going to need backing from the board and the recruits that he needs, so he's no different in that way. But just touching on Colin's comment about the referee there, I think it's quite relevant because I can't believe we've got another referee that was as bad as the referee was last week. How can we get two in a row like that? I mean, they were truly awful both of
They
them.
were. Yeah.
I don't know how Caicedo and Fernandes did not get booked early in the game.
But the thing
amount of
is,
fouls they committed.
you know,
Yeah.
the thing
Say
is,
that.
I found myself today watching some stuff on YouTube, right? And I thought I'd watch a few of our old games that are up on YouTube, you know.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I watched a game from 97, 98 season, I think it was. And
Well,
the
you never
refereeing
saw
in that was no better than it was last night.
that. No.
Honest to God, every single decision went against us. Whether it should have done or not, it did. And I thought, oh, that can't be right. I've just been unlucky and picked one. I picked another one exactly the same, and that was from the 2001, 2002 season.
You don't think there's any biasness in there, do you, Budge?
No, not really, mate. I just look. I thought. Look, I thought. In honesty, I thought I've just picked a bad apple out of the bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I went and picked another one from 3-4 seasons later, and it's no better.
No.
And I bet you any money you like, you could go through to any season and pick any game, and I would imagine that most West Ham fans would say that was like, favoured for the other team.
Well, the Cornet disallowed goal was got to be one of the worst, at least in recent times, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the decision to send off Creswell that time in the European game,
Yeah.
I thought that was a poor decision. You know.
Getting back to last night's game, and you were talking about substitutions earlier, Budgie. Tola says here, he says, Guilherme should have come on instead of Orford. What did you guys think of it? I know you didn't see so much of the game, Budgie, so you might not be best placed to judge, but what did you think of Orford last night, Mick?
Well, he didn't make any mistakes, did he? Because we're not saying, oh, well, boom, boom, boom. Like, I don't know how old the boy is. How old is he? 19?
19, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 19. So, look, we've got a manager that we've been asking for a long, long time now. I want to, it's 10, 15 years, maybe longer. Yeah, that we've asked, what is the academy, the so-called Wonder Academy. We never get anything out of it. So to bring that boy on, in a game we were losing, showed him great trust. And he didn't make no mistakes. He didn't set the world alight, but he's 19. But can you imagine that confidence it gave him? And this is what I really feel Potter will do. He'll look, he'll play, he'll get 20, he'll get half an hour before you know.
I think the thing is, Mick, with these kids now, they've spent or in the academy looking at, they get a place on the bench under Moyes or whoever else, but they won't get any minutes and they're not getting near the first team. And now you see young Ollie Scholes getting 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there. And now Orford's coming on, getting 5-10 minutes at the end of the game with a bit of injury time. That's getting up to 15 and maybe 20 minutes at times. This is like really valuable for their development. Like you say, he's been brought on at Stamford Bridge in a game we're losing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
don't
really
don't
good.
underestimate the value it gives Graham Potter as well.
Yeah.
Because now, he's now in a better position to say whether he needs to spend money in positions and stuff, or whether he's got, players that he might be able to rely on as backup from the academy. It gives him a better perspective of what he's got on his hands.
It's clever because we spoke last week about, should we buy this player or buy that player? And I said, buy no one. And I did say that. I said, buy no one. What's the point? Unless you've got an absolute deal. Yeah, we didn't buy Ferguson. We loaned him. Yeah, he's got a free hit now. He needs another what have we got? 20 points we got now? 29? Is it 28 points? 27? Yeah, he probably needs another 9 points to be absolutely sure staying up, which we will. But what I'm saying is the bottom three are shocking. But if you just want to put that, he's now got a free hit for the rest of the season. So play them, see what they can do, pick up the points. We were unlucky not to pick a point up last night.
We were.
Yeah. And on the subject of Guilherme, now's the perfect time for Potter to use him a little more often and see what he's got to offer. I mean, we know the boy was, scoring goal after goal in Brazil. Completely different scenario, I know, because it's a much tougher
He didn't
game.
have that much senior football before he came over here, you know.
No, he didn't. But what I'm saying is that
It's
at the
not like
level he was playing
he's
at,
not been playing in the Brazilian league he's been playing there 2
no.
3.
But
He's
at
got
the
like
level
20
he was playing
appearances.
at, he's been quite good. He's been fairly
What I will
prolific, which
say,
is why we got him in the first place.
He's got pace and power.
he
Yeah.
has. And his
Right.
career in Brazil, by the way, was mostly made up out of he didn't start many games, and he certainly didn't finish any. So he mostly made substitute appearances.
Yeah, but he's still only 18, is he? 19?
It's absolutely. But what I'm trying to get across is this idea that this 18-year-old that was like doing whatever in Brazil was going to come in and be part of our first team and I don't think that was ever the case.
Plan. Never the
of
plan.
course not,
Yeah.
no.
Right.
But
I'm just trying to put
But it is
some.
strange that he's had limited to no time in the under 23 or under 18 setup.
Well,
he
the
could have
whole
had, he could have had
thing's been
settling in problems. You just don't know. That's another story, isn't it?
the whole thing's been a weird scenario, hasn't it? Because
Mm.
there were reports about were they happy about how he was training and applying himself. Like you say, he's a young lad, come over from the other side of the world. He's in London. He's got to settle in. It's all
And it's
strange.
cold. And it's cold.
Right?
So
Yeah.
that's a massive thing, isn't it?
How much support do we have around him? We've got Luis Yao over. He was going to be the next best thing since sliced bread, and he's just never shifted from the 23s. We're on about moving him on all the time.
No,
So
but I still think he's got. I wouldn't say he should have come on instead of Orford. It was good to see him come on. I'm glad he brought both of them on in answer to Brendan's question. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's got that free hit now, and in slightly lesser games than opponents like Chelsea, not the any games he's in the Premier League, but I would love to see him and Somerville on the wings with the two boys down the middle. Yeah, and a nice solid back four behind it, and see what the midfield and the sort of front two, front four can do from there. So yeah, it would be nice to see because he has the opportunity.
But I agree with the general consensus of the chat. I think, if I'm reading it right, that basically we all would have liked to seen a little bit more of Guilherme and seen him get a few more minutes. And there's probably been games when you look where we needed pace. We're desperately short of pace up front, and we're looking to try and stretch. And we've brought on perhaps Danny Ings. When you're thinking, would have been nice to see him come on and stretch his legs. And then after you see what he did at Chelsea there for the time that he had, it just makes you ask that question again, like, why hasn't he got more minutes? And I think we're all a little bit in that space.
Well, he came up against Colwell twice on a bit of time he was on, like in a little scrap for the ball, and he won both of their scraps. So he's also strong, So yeah, look, we can't manage West Ham. We just talk about him, but I'm sure that I'm pretty sure that the way Potter's persona is already suggests that these young boys are going to get a lot of opportunity before the end of the season, and then he can sit down and he can build on what he wants to do. So yeah, we can all. I was glad to see Orford on, and I was glad to see I can never say his name properly, Guilherme on as well. So yeah, the timing of it on there really.
And Skiles came on and got a few minutes again, and he didn't look quite as comfortable as he has once or twice last night. But I think that's all part of his learning process. Right?
Well, I was going to say, I was watching him last night, and he stood off a Neto. He needs to be like 2 paces forward because he was just as quick as Neto. Neto goes inside or out, so you can't stand off of him. You've got to contact someone like Neto, but he's 18, so he'll learn that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at him going, no, you're too far away. And then he's like thinking, I can go outside. He can't go anywhere if you're in his shorts. You have to be a player like that, you have to be in his shorts because he'll turn you inside out. But he'll learn that.
He will
Yeah.
definitely. It's part of his learning process, right? And he's
He's
learning
quick,
at the
because he
very
beat
top
him.
level.
He beat him on the outside a second time, and I thought, he's going to get the cross in, and he got back and he knocked it out. So he has the pace. It's not like he hasn't got the pace. That was Creswell who destroyed him. Yeah, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, all good to him. It'll all come.
Ian says, I was pleased with last night on the whole. We looked organised and competitive. 2 minimum requirements that we have not enjoyed for a while. I think we have a very good manager on our hands. And then he just goes on to say, my only small criticism was that I'd like to have seen Guilherme get more minutes. He looks lively, which obviously we've just been discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Asus says good evening to you, Budgie.
Good evening,
And,
Aces. Mate.
He says VAR completely robbed Potter last night.
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that, you know. A lot of people have been saying that. Some of the other channels have, like...
Gary Neville said it on Sky Sports. He said it was a disgusting decision, the Bowen free kick.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to how we feel about January's window and what all of our opinions are. And Colin's comment just to say he's disappointed with the lack of transfer business, for he feels that if we added more, there could be an outside chance of Europe, but it is what it is. I have to say, I think that outside chance of Europe is well and truly gone now.
Yeah,
personally. But on the January window, how's everyone feeling about it? What's your views on it? Do you feel we should have gone out and splurged and tried to sign a bundle of players for Potter to work with between now and the end of the season, or do you think it's prudent to keep our powder a bit more dry, give him the chance to work with the people he's got to work with, build his hit list of targets that he wants?
I think personally that we've done the right thing in just bringing him one player, bringing back a player, which is like having a new player for Potter, in James Ward-Prowse. I'm very happy with that decision. I think he'll fit Potter's style very nicely. Look, you've only got to look at what happened to him at Chelsea when he had something like 16 new players to deal with. Yes, he brought a lot of them in himself, but a lot of them...
I don't think he brought him in himself. They brought him for him, but yeah,
Yeah. So, you know, I think it was 16 players he had to deal with.
Yeah.
And look what job he did. He struggled in arguably one of the hardest teams to go and manage right now. You know, them and Man United are probably the 2 worst teams to go and manage right now. But I think he done the best he could under the circumstances. But I believe that we have done the best thing for him for this season. He keeps on saying how he wants to work with the players that he's already got and the players that he's got that are coming back from injury and obviously from loan deals and stuff. And I think we've done the right thing.
What's the definition of a coach? Yeah, it's to coach people. Yeah, and that's what it's about. Yeah, right. It's getting the young lads that are nearly ready. Hello, Colin. It's to coach people. We lose the art of, you know, Man City play football by numbers. Yeah, Arsenal play football by
Words
numbers.
and pictures.
It's like I turned the Man City Arsenal game off Sunday after 35 minutes. I couldn't bear it any longer. Yeah, nothing about it. There's nothing about that game. I love football. I watch all teams. Yeah, I just couldn't watch it. To coach people, do
so much bias as well.
How much what?
So much bias in the studios, in the commentary box. You know, on the refereeing side, and there's just so much bias. And you know, like you said, Mick, the Arsenal game was a game I didn't bother watching after about 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's just boring. So, like I said, we're getting back to the point that it's about coaching properly. about playing attacking football. Defend when you have to, get the ball forward early. And I see that in Potter. I see a much different approach that I love, by the way. Approach that I want to see to the game. Wingers, forwards, good number 10s, coming from behind, backing it up. All of that. You start Soler's run just made me. I thought, wow, I didn't know you had that in your son. So yeah, we don't need, as I said last, in my opinion, we don't need players right now. He got the one he needed, which was Ferguson for 6 months. Yeah, if he works out and we can buy him, great. If he doesn't work out, we can send him back. In the summer, it's a different ball game. There's no like mad urgency. By the time of the summer's gone, he's going to have 2, 3, 4 targets that he probably wants to get 2 of them. Yeah. That'll do me. Spend the money. He's
like the Evan Ferguson thing.
This team now for free.
Yeah, the Evan Ferguson thing. I mean, we brought him on a dry loan, no obligation, no option. Just a straightforward loan. By the end of this loan, if he isn't pressuring the Brighton board to let him come to West Ham, I'd be very surprised.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But let's see what he does. Let's go back to the start of the season when everyone was banding these names around and they haven't performed. Yeah. So it's about the coaching. It's always about the coaching.
Yeah.
Players will always look at Bournemouth, the smallest in the league.
While he was playing regular football at the top level for Brighton, Evan Ferguson, Brighton were bantering around £100 million price tag for him.
Yeah. I don't know.
They ain't nowhere near that anymore. So we might have just got the bargain of the century. Do you know what I mean? I don't agree that he was worth 100. I've got to say that. Maybe 60. Yeah.
So here's the thing with this deal. Some of our fans have been saying, "Oh, it's not right. It's just a loan. We're just going to get him fit and send him back for Brighton and inflate their price. Should have got an option, etc., etc." And I think for West Ham, that would have been the ideal deal to say, let's agree a price. Let's say 40 million. Have a 6-month loan. He comes through that. We get the option, sign the player. That suits West Ham really well. Be a great deal for West Ham. But this is Brighton we're talking about. Brighton don't get pushed around on transfers in the transfer market. Yeah, they told Arsenal go fuck themselves when they were trying to pinch Caicedo off them, and then sold them to Chelsea in the summer for a fortune. Right? Right? If they say this is what we want for the player, they're hard negotiators. If they say you can have him on a 6-month loan, or you can have him on a loan with an obligation for X amount, which we don't want to commit to, which I think personally is smarter to have just the straight loan than a loan with an obligation.
Yeah.
And then get stuck with a player that perhaps ain't going to work out. So if we boost the value of their player, he doesn't want to come here, or West Ham can't make a deal for him come the summer. Okay, I agree totally with what you've said, Mick. Potter and McCauley are going to have their targets lined up for how they want to progress, who they think the players that they want to bring in. If Ferguson's among those and the deal can't be done for him, fine. Move on to the next one.
Yeah. And that's exactly
I think
what
it's
Potter
better.
does as well.
I think it's better. I think we got rid of Lopetegui. We faffed around. Tim's just left today. There's a comment in here from Toga. Actually, I just want to pay notice to that. He says he won't miss Dighton. So he's only just left the club today. We've got McCauley in of Chelsea late in the window. So if, as reported, Potter is comfortable enough to work with what he's got at his disposal, plus Ward-Prowse, which we'll come to, and Ferguson till the end of the season, I'm happy with that. And if they're gonna identify the correct targets between now and the summer, and make sure they get some targets in, identify where we need. We've all got our ideas where the urgency is. And some of us think we need a lot of players, but I don't think we're going to get a lot of players will perhaps come down to budget.
Two, maybe three. Yeah, just to have the right quality coming onto the pitch, and you've got 3 or 4 youngsters. That's 7. That's 5, 6 players to bring into the squad. And what do you need? You know, you don't need a whole new team. Kreza's going at the end of the season. Sukel will probably go at the end of the season.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week. There's no game next week, so if we get a chance to get together next week, maybe we'll chat about that a bit. We could spend a bit more time on perhaps what our needs are for next year. But I take it from ourselves, we're pretty comfortable and happy with the Ferguson deal as it is. I'd be interested in what the reaction is in the chat to that. Moving on to JWP returning. How does everyone feel about that?
Well, as I already said, I'm actually quite happy about it. I think he's the perfect man for Potter's, vision. I really do.
I don't think under Moisey he was particularly good. Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
I think there's a better player in him than the way Moisey managed him. So I think under Potter he
but
might.
Then a lot of players weren't that good under Moyes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he absolutely ruined Ben Rama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't do an awful lot for Fornells.
No,
Fornells, he was, Skamaka, Haller, he has actually ruined players. I think I can only say that only 2 players have vastly improved under him, and that was Bowen and Mikel Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Rice, I suppose.
Yeah, Rice definitely.
Rice. But I mean,
that's
in
not saying
general,
it's a bad manager, but I don't think.
No, he wasn't the manager for those players.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Well, they weren't the players for his management style.
Anyway, can we leave Moyes where he belongs? And
No, we're just talk
about JWP.
No, well, that's what we are talking about JWP. What we're saying is that he may come in to the team and be the player we hoped he was going to be, because I don't think he was the player I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I think I said on here or to you, Jeff, privately, I can't remember, he never sprays the ball about. A man that can put a ball on the sixpence was making little 1, 2, 3 yard pull. Why is he not splitting defences with great balls? Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if he's the man that he puts in that position and says, right, I want you sending them.
Potter's definitely the manager to do that for him.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see JWP playing?
At the moment,
alongside Alvarez.
At the moment, I see him on the bench.
I tend to agree with you, Mick. That's the position I see him. However, if you look at our bench, and personally, I would much rather have JWP as an option off the bench than Rodriguez, for example.
Yes.
So he's sitting on, or barely sitting on, Forest's bench.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely a place for him on our bench, and if he comes on in games, he's definitely got an opportunity to influence games. So
it's not his ideal position, right? But last night, bring Ings on the left side. Now, I'd much rather see Prowsey come on the left side. It's not his ideal position.
Yeah, I hate him on that left side.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if you had a choice of Ings on the left or him on the left, big difference. So yeah,
I have a slightly different opinion of how I think Ward-Prowse is going to fit in, purely and simply because I'm looking at it from a Potter perspective, not a West Ham fan perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Graham Potter is itching for a player like James Ward-Prowse. Like you said, Mick, to spray the ball around. Or was it you, Jeff?
Yeah,
no.
Spraying the ball around, getting these free kicks. I mean, we've got 1 or 2 decent free kick takers.
Mm-hmm.
We are now bringing back the world's best at this current time.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been so prolific at West Ham, but let's be fair, he didn't get that many of them in prime position.
No.
But I think under Graham Potter, you'll see a completely different Ward-Prowse. You'll see a better Southampton Ward-Prowse. That's what I believe.
I hope so. But as I said, you know what? I'm looking at him in his time in the claret and blue shirt, and you know he was
I'm not
unimpressive.
expecting him to get a start straight away. You know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he probably will come on 60th, 70th minutes, you know, and try and change the game a bit.
Unless you played him alongside Souček, and Souček sits a little bit deeper, but you know.
I mean, I personally would play him alongside Alvarez. Personally,
So where would you play Souček?
In that sort of like 6-8 role, you know.
So how would you play? Where would you play Souček? Because he's to be
in front
in
of them in a 3-man triangle, mate. I'd play Souček in the 8 role all the time. Definitely.
Yeah, but you've got to take into account the way Potter plays. So you can set up a team. If you're going to set up a team differently to Potter to accommodate these players, that's fine, because like we all do that, don't we? Pick our teams. But if we're going to try and second guess how Potter's going to use him, that's a different challenge altogether. And I don't think he's going to set up in the way you're suggesting, is he?
Well, maybe not, you know, but he might set up with 3 central midfielders, you know, and your 2 wing backs up alongside them with 3 at the back, like he did yesterday against Chelsea. And I can see Ward-Prowse fitting that
what
system.
About all of that as well? You know, he's going to have a field day if he's got proper forwards in front of him. Let's be fair.
Yeah, but Graham Potter's clever and intelligent enough to know which players to use for which games, or for which part of each game. You know, he might start with your James Ward-Prowse to see how it goes, and then say, well, actually, this isn't working. And at 60 minutes, he brings on Paqueta. You know what I mean? Or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
James Ward-Prowse is a great option. A great option to have.
I think Ward-Prowse is actually quite versatile. I think push comes to shove. If you don't want to use Mavropanos, right, and you've had Soufal playing like he did yesterday for 70 minutes at right centre-back, you want to push Wan-Bissaka into the right centre-back role and bring James Ward-Prowse on as a right wing-back for 20 minutes or something. I mean, I think his lack of pace could be a bit of a problem, but I tell you what, he wouldn't mind seeing his delivery coming in off of that right-hand side.
Oh, God knows. God knows. And, you know, to be fair, when he played for Southampton, he played that central role, you know, but you always see him going out onto that right-hand side quite often, you know. So, yeah, I mean, that would be an option for him. Definitely.
I mean, I'm not saying he should start there and play 90 minutes there. I'm just saying, especially at this
Drift
time
out
where
there
he's
from time to time during the game.
got to juggle the pack a little bit, and he's got a few square pegs in round holes as it is. That might be an option. It might keep Mavro out of trouble, right?
Might keep West Ham out of trouble if we can keep Mavro out of the pitch.
Exactly. Words of Pictures says, did you figure out what the sound issue was last week? Words of Pictures, no, I didn't, unless it was the USB port. But I did a sound test earlier and it was working, and I'm using a different USB port this week. So
you caught me right out of my hop there. I didn't know what to do or say because you got the agenda. I was like,
I tell you, I was in panic mode because it all dropped out, and I thought, I'm a technophobe, and I've got a bigger technophobe than I am on the other end of the screen. He's going to have, I've got no idea what to do, and he's going to have less idea than me. So we best just bail. Colin says, Jed's talking about transfers. Can you work this out? According to all reports, we agreed a deal for Krupi for 33 million, and he ends up going to Bournemouth for 12 million plus something definitely wrong. Well, I don't know if anyone really knew anything about this.
I know exactly what's wrong with that. The report that we were going to get him for 33, that's
okay. I don't know if any of us knew about Krupi much before the news broke about 48 hours ago. And now there's great fallout that we've lost out on this player. As far as I can understand what some of the stuff I've read, the Bournemouth owner is also involved with the Lorient club. So he's got whatever degree of investment or certainly relationship with them. So I think we were offering 15 million plus whatever it was in add-ons, as I understood the deal. Their deals, I haven't looked here, but it's reportedly 12 million plus whatever. I think it just comes down to Bournemouth had more influence over the player and the club than we did.
Maybe just
Remains to be seen if we've lost a real gem or not, I think.
Maybe he just wanted to go to a bigger club, Jeff.
That's a way you upset the chat, Mick.
But, you say that, but maybe, just maybe, he's been told stuff about West Ham he doesn't like and thinks, I don't want to go there.
Ian's just saying the same thing, actually, about echoing Colin, really, there.
Some speculation, mate, but we know nothing.
Yeah, so he's just saying that Brighton have the right to demand just as it did with Declan Rice. So
yeah, referring to I think our conversation when we were talking about Ferguson and that there, which is
absolutely right, Ian. That's exactly it.
And like I say, they're hard negotiators. They know what they want and they stick out for it. They don't get pushed around by anyone, do they, Brighton?
No, they don't, and they buy their players cheap and they sell them good money. That's what they do.
Terence says, Budgie, Ferguson will be injured in 2 months. A clever deal. If he feels wanted and appreciated at us, he will come to us. Potter isn't a mug.
Yeah.
Or isn't smug. Right. I'm not sure which, if I've read that right, smug or a mug.
I don't know that he will be.
Oh, it is a mug. Sorry, a mug, yeah.
I'm not so sure that he will get injured in 2 months. I mean, who knows? You just can't predict the future. I mean, who knows? The bloke get injured in training, and we don't get him at all. I mean, anything can happen. Let's not be pessimistic about it. Like we've got a player coming back into fitness. He played some minutes last week, so he's come back into fitness. Let's see if we can keep him fit. And like Terence, as you say. Potter isn't a mug, and he will use him cleverly. Watch it,
The only worry with Ferguson is he smells a bit like Wilshere. He looks like he's got glass ankles, doesn't he? A fine footballer that's going to be possibly plagued by injuries. Let's hope that's not the case, because
he's a young lad. Let's hope not.
He's coming to West Ham now, but whether he stays at West Ham or moves on. You don't want this guy to be robbed of his career, do you? You want him to go on and have a good career and do what he can do. So, yeah, let's hope we can keep him fit, get the best out of him.
Lad. Did you see his interview? He speaks.
He's a fine Irish lad. He's a fine Irish lad, mate. I like him.
Ian says JWP is a great move. I'd like to see what Potter can do with him. I think some of our fans were unduly harsh on him. Thought he showed us flashes of what he can do despite Moyes. And I think that's very true. When he first arrived, he played a little bit further up the pitch. He was involved. He scored a couple of goals, didn't he? Was involved with assists. We'll see what we get out of him. Tola says, I'm okay with JWP coming back. If we get just half of his good assists, that will do.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not happy with him coming back. He needs as well. I think Budgie summed up properly. He's got to be the Southampton Ward-Prowse, not the West Ham one. Because I'm not being harsh on him. I just don't think we got the best out of him. Hello, bud. Smash.
Well, good evening, Simon. It was a pleasure chatting with you last night, mate. Back on Ward-Prowse, as you said, I think that the reason we didn't see James Ward-Prowse we were expecting, hoping, and wanting was down to management. The way he was managed, the way he was played, the game plan that was put before him. I believe that was it. And I'm a strong believer in that. Because,
I
like
agree
I
with you. I agree.
so many players have been stifled when they've been such good players, So I think that Graham Potter is the sort of manager that would bollock a player for not expressing himself.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like that sort of guy. Go out there and express yourself. And then at half time, if you're not doing the job, he's going to give you a bonking for it. Why ain't you taking on that bloody left back? Why ain't you doing this? Why aren't you, creating havoc in the box? That's the sort of manager that he is. He gives me that impression.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll do well with JWP.
Thank you from the Galloping Gourmet there.
Ian says, Budgie, are you trying to get your steps in for the day?
No, mate, I was just in desperate need of a cup of coffee.
Who was that? Who put that up about Everton finishing above?
I'm going to come back to it because we sort of was waffling on. So I'm going to come back to that now. Colin says, gents, do you feel Everton will finish above us in the league? So what does everyone think?
It would be bloody ironic if they did, though, wouldn't it?
Kind of would be.
After the start of the season they had.
And the appointment of Moyes and the hatred amongst some of our fan base towards him that seems like an open wound to them.
I don't think they will, Colin, but it would be bloody ironic if they did.
Well, let's put it this way. Even if they do, they won't win nothing, the same as us, so it don't really matter.
I don't think they will. I think they're on a bit of a run, but it's going to come to a stumble. And hopefully we're going to start getting some players back, and Potter's going to have more time around his team, and we're going to get better.
He's getting a week between games now because we're out.
He's got 2 weeks now, hasn't he?
Huh?
Yeah, 10 days, mate.
2 weeks now.
Yeah, but he's getting a week between every game.
Yeah.
Right, so if he's going to get... He has come in at a perfect time for a coach. Not going to go down. No one expects us to get in Europe because it's out the window. Bring all his kids into the first team squad, training with them. As you said earlier, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there.
He's got Bruno with him now.
He's got what?
Bruno with him now.
Bruno.
He's head coach.
Oh, right.
The old goalkeeper that he had at Brighton.
Oh, right, yeah. He's got everything there set up for him. He's coming at a wonderful time. Absolutely wonderful time. And even more wonderful, the bottom three are going down. So there's no pressure. No pressure. When Moisey came in, can I just say this? When Moisey came in, he had to do a hell of a job to keep us in the Premiership. And that shouldn't be forgotten. He done a hell of a job twice, keep us in it. Because he came in, like he has at Everton, under big pressure, and he kept us in there. And that should, even winning Europe's one thing, but he kept us in the Premier League when most managers...
He's done a hell of a job in Europe for us as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for 33 days, we held the distinction of being the top club in the UK of, like, consecutive European wins.
That's top club in Europe for consecutive wins. It was 17, and then Man City.
Top club in Europe, yeah. But it was also the top British club as well, and that was like a 53-year gap or something since British club had held that distinction. And then 33 days later, Pep goes and takes it off us. But having said that, the fact that it was Pep and Man City isn't such a, it's not such an elbow in the face to me.
I just want to say this, and I think it's fair. I don't think this is a chat room, certainly on the panel here, that's at Moyes haters or anything like that. But it's trying to change, So, if they finish above us, good luck to them, but they won't win nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I was on with Simon last night, and one of his guests said to me, you know, are you glad that you got rid of Moyes, or do you regret getting rid of Moyes and that? And I said, well, absolutely not. I said, look, I've got utmost respect for everything he did for this club, not just the results that he got us. He done a lot. He gave the club a lot of cohesion. He gave the changing room some camaraderie that was missing. He helped to manipulate the club into like a family club again. You know, I said, you know, the fact is that I've got a lot of respect for what he achieved at West Ham. That he hit his ceiling, and I honestly believe that.
He did
He hit his ceiling, you know. And I think that Graham Potter is the
He not
kind of
only hit
manager
his
that hasn't got a
ceiling,
ceiling.
he was divisive as well in the end, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, Stedham was a lot to do with that. So
yeah.
Well, and his football was quite a lot to do with it. Right, so we have to recognise that, yeah. We're not all worshipping at the feet of Moyes, but we just recognise what he did for our football club, and we appreciate it. Well, that's my stance, right?
Yeah.
Well, you have to ask yourself another question there, with all the, you know, all the people that are saying, like, be careful what you wish for on Sky Sports and all that. Yeah. The truth of the matter is, he's gone back to Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a relegation battle. No one's come in and said, oh, you know what, we'll have you. You know what I mean? Because he has a certain ceiling, a certain way.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong what he does, but
you're never going to find an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Chelsea or anyone like that, fighting for his signature, because you know their aspirations are far greater than what he can achieve.
If I'm being honest, I just want to wrap it up with this, if you like. I think there's something, if you like, poetic about Moyes returning to Goodison for the final season, saving them from relegation and leading them into their new stadium or something. It's something quite fitting.
It's brilliant for him.
For him, yeah.
Brilliant for him.
For him, there's something fitting about that. But you're right. Let's park David Moyes, move back into the chat. And Terence says, I honestly feel Potter got him, Ferguson, to make sure we don't go relegation zone full stop. If he remains fit, he's there to do a job. Anything else is a bonus. I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to get threatened by the relegation zone now. If you look at the gap that there is between the bottom four and Everton, I don't think Everton are going to get dragged into it now. And I definitely don't think we are. But I hope Ferguson comes in, makes an impact, can stay fit, score some goals for us, and if he looks like the right fit and we can negotiate the right deal, hopefully we see him in a claret and blue shirt on a full-time basis.
Be nice.
Toha says, do you think Potter might go after Sanchez from Chelsea? I take it you're talking about the goalkeeper. My personal view is, as I hope not, but I'll be interested to what you guys think.
I agree with you.
Was he brought in as his goalkeeper? Did they bring Sanchez in for him to be Potter's goalkeeper? Did they?
He came from Brighton, didn't he? But I don't know if Potter signed him or not. I can't remember.
Personally, I think if we're going to go for a keeper that's already in the Premier League right now, we should go balls out and try and get David Raya. For me, he's the sort of goalkeeper we need.
Well, how are you going to get him out of Arsenal then?
Well, Arsenal, I don't know their arse from their fucking elbow, mate.
How much does David Raya cost to get out of Arsenal then?
Cost 60 million to get in there, didn't it, or something?
38, 40.
Anyway,
how much money have we got in the summer then?
I don't think you were here a couple of weeks ago.
Listen, all I'm saying is that
we spoke about a realistic
got just as much money. How much do you think Chelsea are going to want for him?
Yeah,
well, I don't know. But I'd rather go and get Ramsdale from Southampton personally. Go down.
We spoke about this the other week, didn't we? I don't think Buzz was on, and we were talking about
Liverpool. Yeah.
I've already made my view on Ramsdale perfectly clear. Don't like him. Don't rate him. Don't want him.
Fair enough.
But you think he's a good goalkeeper, though, yeah?
No, not at all. Not at all. I cringe every time I see him on the England list. Every time.
I think he's quite a good goalkeeper, but I mean, it's all about opinions, right? We've all got different.
Yeah, I don't know about Sanchez, to be honest. I wouldn't want him. Let's put it that way. I'd rather stick with Areola. I say Areola's problem is
I'd rather us go and get Christian Hagee back.
The thing is with Christian Hagee, right? Our young goalkeeper that went to Motherwell and couldn't fucking get a game in as a SPL, right? And now we're going to throw him in the Premier League every. I'm
not saying every week, Jeff. Come on, you're putting words in.
All right, okay, but I don't see. He's come back and gone. He's gone somewhere else now, hasn't he?
Areola's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Fabianski's going to retire. We need a second goalkeeper. Well, we've got Fotherington. There you go. He'll step straight in. And Graham and Bruno will make Fotherington a Premier League goalkeeper. Trust me.
Okay, but you're saying that Areola's going to be our number one, and I think he needs to be changed.
Well, it's not a case of what we think. It's a case of what will happen. And what will happen is the club will not release enough funds for us to go and get a decent goalkeeper.
We have a decent goalkeeper.
We have a decent goalkeeper in Areola. And we went and got Fotherington for you lot last year. And how much have you used him? So you have him as your number two, and we'll give you a younger, up and coming number three.
I'll be honest, Budgie, I don't think Fotheringham is any kind of sticking, but he costs fuck all and he earns fuck all. I don't. And
tell you what, Jeff, I'll swap his wages with mine. All right.
Okay, of course, relative. In Premier League terms, he's cost nothing, and he's on tiny wages in terms of the football club. I don't see that we're not going to get another goalkeeper because we got him for you last year. It'd be different if we spent 35 million on a keeper and then go, fucking, you got to use him, mate. Yeah, but guy we got for fuck all on
we pay for Areola. Can you remember? 12, wasn't it?
8 million, was it?
I think it was 12, Jeff.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Areola.
Yeah, it wasn't big money, no.
No, I think it was 12 million. I'm pretty sure it was 12 million. Oh, no, it might have been 12 million with the loan.
Yeah. Maybe, with the loan.
With the loan, I think it came to about 12 million. Anyway,
that's my best guess.
So he's our number one goalkeeper next season, unless the club are willing to dig deep and go and pay 30 plus million for a goalkeeper. Yeah. And if you're going to go and pay 30 plus million for a goalkeeper, why would you go for someone like Ramsdale or whatever? You go for a better goalkeeper. Go for, a regular international starter, for example.
Kelleher, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Kelleher's all right. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
But again, we're drifting in. We should talk about the squad changes next week, really.
Okay.
So we've only got we've been debating the goalkeeper, and we haven't even got through to centre halves and anything else we're going to need.
Jeffers, I've got another early one tomorrow, mate. So I'm going to jump out. Yeah.
No problem, mate. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch up next week.
Mate. See you, buds. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and being here. All the best. Bye bye.
See you later, Jeff.
See you later, Mick. Colin's asking, what do you feel about losing Somerville for 2 months? I can't imagine anyone's feeling anything good about it. It's a massive blow. I think that was a huge boost, potential boost to Potter. Somerville coming back, and now he's not. Leaves a big hole, doesn't it? What do you think, Budge?
I agree with all of that, Jeff. And, I'll add to it that, we are struggling on that left-hand side of midfield or attack. And, he's one of the shining lights that we have got. So to have him out for 2 months puts a dimmer light on that side of the pitch, and therefore puts a dimmer light on the whole pitch, really, because although he's not Jared Bowen or Thomas Socek or whatever, a player that we can't do without right now, he's not that. But that position is a position we need to manage very carefully now.
Yeah, but you see the difference if you'd have had Somerville in that position last night instead of Soler, perhaps, right? Would have made a big difference to our team, right? So big miss. And he's not going to be back till what? Middle of April. He's out for sort of 7-8 weeks with his injury. He's not going to come back ready to go full speed 100%, is he? So it's going to take another couple of weeks. We're going to see him last few games of the season if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Colin says, gents, I have a lot of respect for Moyes and appreciate what he did. Just feel that his time was up and could not take us any further.
Exactly.
I think our consensus here is on line with you, Colin. So we'll get no arguments. Stowe is saying Ramsdale cheap. And he also says you didn't like or rate Potter, Budgie.
No, that's true. And I admit I was fucking wrong to do so. Wrong to do that, mate. But in fairness, I was judging him on his job at Chelsea, not on his job anywhere else. And having looked at what he did elsewhere and what he's doing here, I was wrong. I admit it. I'm not wrong about Ramsdale.
Colin says Kelleher of Liverpool for himself as a goalkeeper. Terence says, I'm going to throw this out there, but we should have got Pickford before Everton. Yeah, I mean, Pickford is an absolute fucking lunatic, isn't he?
Fit him well then, wasn't he?
Oh, he is. I mean, that ship has sailed. You're not going to get him. We're talking about, how much it's going to cost. It costs a fortune to get
If
Pickford
Everton were going to fall down
Everton.
into the Championship, that would be the time that we should go.
Yeah, it might be an opportunity, but
but
yeah,
that's not going to happen by the look of it.
Good shout, though. If you could have got Pickford before Everton.
I really don't like him as a person. I think he's obnoxious.
He's an annoying little fucker, isn't he? But
Yeah.
he's a good
goalkeeper. If you had him in the green shirt behind our boys, I think I'd be fairly confident. I rate him as a goalkeeper. I'm not surprised he's England's number one.
Yeah. He's not. I agree with you. I don't think he's necessarily the most likable of people. There's something about him. I mean, I don't know him, but there's just something about him that kind of
irritates you. He's not the greatest keeper out there, but he's the best that England have got to offer.
But he is a fucking absolute lunatic. He makes me laugh. Yeah. He's fucking antics.
But then, we've had lunatics between the sticks before, many times. And it's nothing new. And I think that he would fit in really well, and I think the crowd would really take to him. Because if the crowd give him a bit of banter, he'd turn around and give it back to us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we love that because it just sparks it all off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think Pickford over Ramsdale for me every day of the week. Moving forward.
Ian says, on Moyes, not my cup of tea, but the right manager at the right time. No hate from me. In fact, I'm thankful for the trophy, but it was overdue. Time for both sides to move on. Good luck to him. I can't argue it. Kind of echoes how I feel about it.
I know that a majority of the West Ham fans feel exactly that way. I would hope. I know that it's probably, a vain hope, but I mean, that's how I feel. Time was up. Ceiling read.
Yeah. And Asa says Ward-Prowse has to start.
I appreciate you making that comment. The only thing is with that at the moment, like you said earlier, Jeff, who do you take out to bring Ward-Prowse in for? I mean, it's a real difficult one. Like as you said, Soler surprised everybody last night.
His turn of pace surprised me anyway.
Yeah. And do you remember, I've been waving his flag all season since we got him. And people have been saying, I'm not so sure about him. And I've been saying, he'll get us there. He will, once he gets the grip with the game in this country, he will get there. And trust me, he will. And he has done. I think he's started coming to fruition now. And, Soler isn't a player I would willingly take out of my team right now.
Well, we'll see how he goes because he's performing under a different manager now. He's going to be asked to play in a different way. And we might see the best of him. It seems to me on Soler, the sort of, it's a bit of a pendulum on him. It sort of swings one way and the next way. He looks really good in some moments and pretty ordinary in others. But he's got a good number of games between now and the end of the season. And come May, I think it's fair to say we'll know whether we want to go out and spend £20 million on him or if we can spend it better elsewhere.
Yeah.
We'll have seen enough.
Seems cheap for him to me.
Yeah, we'll have seen enough. That's what I'm saying. We've definitely seen enough what he can offer. And then Potter will make a decision on him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ian says, just see the pic on Twitter of Potter and all his staff out this morning watching the under-18s. That's the sort of manager I want. Looking for his next options. One thing I will say, Ian, I mean, Moyes went to all the under-21s and the 23 games, didn't he? Or his representatives did. I heard Gio saying about that one of his shows earlier, and I have heard Russ on West Ham Network say that often.
Quite often there's that, yeah.
But that aside, Ian's absolutely right. It's great to see the manager involved in the youth. We talked about it earlier in the show, how these young players are going to be so encouraged now because now they start to see that they might get some minutes. There's going to be a pathway and there's some opportunities for them. Now to see the main man coming and watching them training and that, it's just got to give them guys a real boost. It's probably a different feeling around the football club.
I would imagine
for a long time.
I would imagine also he's familiarising himself with the coaching staff at that level as well, at those levels, because you got to remember he's only been in the club 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, he's not been here 5 minutes.
And so, like all Kevin Keane and all of those guys, the ones that are coaching these younger lads, I think he needs to introduce himself to them as well. And, he needs to get his head together with them to see what's what and what plans they've got and what plans he wants to implement and that. It's important that he does all of that. We never got to see any of that with Lopetegui. We don't know whether he ever actually did it or not. We have no idea. We know, as you said, we know that Moyes had a representative or himself at most of the under 18s, under 21s games. We know that, but the fact is that he didn't implement anything from that.
No, and those kids probably never had any belief that there was really that pathway because they couldn't see that.
Seeing him at the under 18s, right? Them young kids are going, hang on, we were training with Ollie 2 days ago and he was playing last night. Do you know what I mean? And and that's the man that put him on. So let's do what we can do. Let's have a bit more belief again. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. I think
it must have brought a real feel-good factor around the club and the youth setup. It's brilliant. But in fairness, my worries, my only reservations around Graham Potter, I said before his appointment, I said it in the summer, I'll say it now. I do worry that his team struggle to score goals and score a lot of goals. I don't think it's fair to judge him about that in this moment in time when we've just spent most of the show talking about how depleted we are and what lacks of options we've got. Now we've got fullbacks playing at centre half. at the moment. Yeah, filling in there. So,
Yeah, number
you know, I
10's
don't.
playing fun.
Yeah, you know, Danny Ings until yesterday the only recognised fit striker. So. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say, he struggles for goals. Look at the last couple of games and we barely got a shot on goal
Mhm. Yeah,
against,
but you know,
who did
he
we
didn't
lose
have
to?
he
Villa.
didn't have all guns in the armory at that time, did he? And he
No,
hasn't
no.
done.
Listen, I'm saying, cutting some slats. This is not the time to judge him. I'm just saying,
No.
historically, this is my concern around Potter. I hope that he's got solutions to these problems, right? And when he's got all of our players out, hopefully he doesn't struggle to score goals. But
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out. That's been my only reservation
Yeah.
about Potter, and I'm happy to stand by it for the time being.
Me too. Me too.
But it's been brilliant. I always say that it's been refreshing, and everyone looks happier. And the competitiveness and the bite and the togetherness in that team, we suddenly starting to look like a team
Hmm.
that want to play for each other.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind betting that things like merchandising has gone up again. You know, and things like that. You know, because when you're not feeling good about the club or what's happening at the club and that, you don't really feel like you want to go and spend your money on one of their tops or a hat or whatever the case may be. You know, when the team are giving you something to look forward to and you're enjoying watching things, that's when you start feeling good about things and you start buying merchandise. So I would imagine things like that have started getting better as well. You know, I mean, like I bought a shirt right at the beginning of the season. I bought a shirt with the number 20 and Bowen on the back of it. And during one game, I took it off and threw it. I have no idea where it is. I haven't seen it since. You know,
Tohu's
I'm not
asking,
another
do you
one.
think when the photo with Potter and Stuyton was leaked that Tim thought he'd be out?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think he did either. I think he thought he was being a bit clever because that was all so messy, that Lopetegui departure and the leak to Talk Sport, the
Yeah,
photo of him and Potter. It was just stinking.
yeah.
But no, I don't think he did. And
That
yeah,
could have been
Potter's
that
seen him
was
off,
a
hasn't he?
well orchestrated ploy to dirty Tim Steidten.
Well, I don't know about that, but Potter's seen him off, that's for sure. I'm not. I've been thinking about this Stuyton thing. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, have we missed a really good negotiator? Because that's the one thing we thought. He went out and he negotiated, got deals. All we heard about was the project. But if we look at half of the players he's brought in, selling them the project with whatever he's promised them, half of these are the ones that want to leave, or
Or that we don't want.
reportedly have wanted to leave and have not settled. And so you wonder what he has done to get these deals over the line or get these players in.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks great because you've got them signed, but you need players to come to be happy, to want to be here, to want to play, and not kind of like the Tadebo thing. Lot made of it. He was clear, or pretty publicly saying he didn't want to come to West Ham and he wanted to go to Juventus. And a lot was made of, oh, well, Tim got that over the line and what a great job he's done. But then I know we've got the Lopetegui relationship thing, hard to read between the lines. Anything outside of that, they clearly didn't get on, and there
Yeah.
was problems there. But I just don't know. You look, they were willing to move Guilherme on. There have been reports of they weren't happy with him. And here's the other thing people say about, oh, there's like an agenda against Tim, but I can't imagine that Potter's particularly got any agenda against it. That's not none of those players are his players, right? They're all
Yeah.
someone else's players. They're all someone else's signings. So
Mm-hmm.
he must just want to work with who he can work with and
Well,
shed
that's
who he
what
needs
he's
to
been
shed, right?
saying all along, though. In most of his press conferences, he's been saying, You know, I am not going to talk about that man, and that man because they're not West Ham players. I want to concentrate on the guys that are wearing claret and blue. You know, that's, you know, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but, you know, he wants to concentrate on the squad that he's got currently. He wants to know what he's got. He wants to know what he wants to keep, what he needs to move on, and what he wants to bring in. You know, and this is all this season. The last remaining part of this season is kind of a free hit to him. You know, like a lot. I've heard the phrase that it's almost like a pre-season to him. I wouldn't say so much that because there's a lot at stake during this half of a season. A lot at stake. I mean, we could fall into the bloody, you know, the bottom 4 places of the Premier League. You know, we could. It could happen. It's
Here's
not
my view on
mathematically
it.
impossible. So, you know, I mean, it's not a free hit for him really in so much, you know, so many terms, but it is the perfect opportunity for him to familiarise himself with everything about the club, you know, including the fan culture, which he's already got a really good idea and a really good handle on anyway. I mean, whether it's scripted or not, the way he speaks about the fan base already has endeared him to us.
Yeah, in his short time.
Yeah.
What I would so I forgot. I've lost my track now, Budgie. I was going to make a point there, but I've lost my track. I'll let you carry on. What were we talking about before we started talking about the fans?
Oh,
this is what I was going to say. This is it. Yeah. Those that say we've got nothing to play for, the season's over, right? This is what I would say. We've got opportunity to finish above Man United and Tottenham and Everton, who we spoke about earlier, who whatever proportion of the fan base, for whatever reason, are definitely not going to want Everton to finish above us. Then when you look above that, there's Crystal Palace. Well, you want to finish above Crystal Palace, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Right? If we win next couple of weeks' time, we're a point behind Brentford. Well, you want to finish above Brentford. If you're West Ham, you want to finish above Brentford, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Then you get into like Fulham and Brighton. If you're West Ham, you want to finish above Fulham and Brighton, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. If you're West Ham, you want to be the top-rated club in the Premier League from London. Obviously, we're not going to surpass Arsenal and Chelsea, but everyone else, what I would call in like locally, we want to be above all of them, all the London
We're talking
clubs.
about 5-6 places there. So now they're talking getting up to like 9th place.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get up to 9th place. And I don't think you're going to catch
all
these teams.
Mathematically impossible.
What I'm saying is the season's not dead. The season's not over. We want to finish above teams like Everton, Brentford, Fulham, Palace,
especially
Brighton.
Man United and Tottenham.
And we definitely want to finish above Spurs and Man United.
Yeah, of course.
So goals are realigned. I don't think there's European football on offer. Let's get 10th. Okay, here's the other thing. Last season we finished 9th, right? It was a fucking disaster. There's a meltdowns. Yeah, we're going in the wrong direction. Well, there's a target then. Try and get 9th. Try and match last year.
Yeah, yeah. And to be fair, last year we had a great opener to the season, and then it just tailed off right the way through to near the end. We were getting the occasional decent result, and it was occasional. This season, we started off shit. We've picked up a few points along the way. We've got now half a season to improve and to make an attack on that top 10. You know, I think we could get 10th or 9th. I don't think 8th is going to be in the running, but, you know, it's not mathematically impossible. But let's go for the best possible league position we can. And, you know, let's give Graham Potter the tools he needs to do it. You know, the players are coming back from injury and loan and whatever else. And, you know, Evan Ferguson's come in on loan. So there's a few more tools that he's got at his disposal. And, us lot on the terraces, in the crowd, in the seats, we've got to be that 13th player or the 12th player or whatever you want to call it. We got to keep doing our job, because all the players say how much it means to them, how much it spurs them on. Andy Irvine's interview earlier on, he was saying that when he heard the crowd singing his name, it gave him that extra 10% that he needed to feel like he belonged in that kit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were brilliant for him last night. I thought he was. I thought he had a really good game. Actually, I thought he tired towards the end, but he's not really played at that level.
know quite a few of the fans that go to the away games regularly. We know them from the Carpenters. Quite a lot of them in Dartboard Corner are the regular away, or some of the regular away fans and that. And, and they're the guys that get the atmosphere going in the Carpenters and everywhere else they go, and they are brilliant, a lot of them. And when you go to an away game like I did last season at Brighton, you can't help but be amazed at the atmosphere that a small group of people can actually create in such a large area. It's unbelievable.
Terence says, I don't know if you know about this quote, Budgie. Made me chuckle when I read it. He says, you're right about Pickford. Outspoken and temperamental. He said on BBC a couple of months ago, he wants a baseball bat as Everton have no defence.
That's brilliant.
Oh, it's just the kind of loony he is, but it is funny, isn't it?
Yeah. But, look, when you look at the kind of lunatics we've had in our club over the years, the John Monkers, your Julian Dixies and, and the likes, he would be just another one of those, and I would love him at this club. I really would. I've always said I never rated him as a top goalkeeper, but he is England's number one. But with his character and the ability that he has got, I think he'd be a great addition to West Ham.
Terence has got he's got a Bowen shirt storied. Sounds a bit more traumatic than your one. It says, Budgie, I bought a Bowen top as well. My ex wore it to bed, went home with it, and nice son cut it up. She's an ex. A son is a sad Chelsea. Say no more. I got away lightly. Can't have people chopping up your shirts, Terence. That's just a no-no, mate.
No. I feel guilty enough that I threw mine somewhere and don't know where. I have no idea where it is. None whatsoever.
Ian says here, he says, I heard the crowd singing Graham Potter's Claret and Blue Army 2. Fantastic. Hopefully he's beginning to unite the fans a bit more. And I must say,
I think he did that from his first press conference, Jeff.
And I will say it's really early in his reign, right? And by the way, we've got 1 win in 4 or something like that, right? And they're singing his name like that. So I think it's great, right? And you're right. It brings a bit of unity and gets everyone on board. I think everyone's embracing what he wants to do. Everyone can see what he's trying to do, yeah? Like the difference with him and Loppy, there's lots of differences, right? But a big difference is you can see what he's trying to do. When he sets the team up with his 3 at the back, there's a method to why he's setting it up and how he's setting it up. We stuck 3 at the back against Chelsea, shit fucking 5 with Lopetegui, right? And everyone was all at sea that game. No one knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
That wasn't reflective of last night's performance.
Not at all.
So,
and even the fact that he used Creswell and Soufal as the 2 outer centre backs, if you like. A lot of people had reservations about it. I thought they actually did a reasonable job last night. right
they
up
absolutely
until
did. And what you got to think is he's not only done that last night, he's done it for the last 2 games. Now,
Yeah.
last night he was up against Madueke,
out of
Jackson,
the 2 goals,
Sancho.
out of the 2 goals, neither of them were down to either Creswell or Soufal. Neither of them.
No, Emerson got caught sleeping a little bit,
Yes,
didn't he,
he
for the
did.
Neto goal.
My Superman from last year.
Easy to be critical, but should be a free kick. Should never get a strike on goal. Should be a free kick. We've done all that, so you know, is what it is. I think we're very unlucky. I just think out of the last 2 games, you look at the opposition we've played, you look at the opponents that back 3 has had to face up against, and we've got a point at Villa, well deserved, and we were very, very unlucky to get beat last night. We should have been unbeaten in those 2 games, and I think that's quite an achievement, right? So,
And I think
well
the
done.
fact that we went out there and scored first, made a statement as well, that we're not going to sit back and be, bullied by anyone. You got to catch us if you can. I think that was kind of the message that was being sent last night.
We kind of set up a counter-attacking game, didn't he? But it wasn't. We tried to press when we could.
Yeah.
And then we dropped off. The
I
shape was
thought
good.
it was a good game
A
plan.
couple of times we got out of shape. We looked a bit dodgy when we were running towards our own goal. We have done all season.
Yeah.
To get facing our own goal, we were a little bit untidy, but didn't happen too often. Ian's saying, of course, the irony is that Sully didn't want him, so we're led to believe. Wouldn't it be lovely if Potter managed to transform the club in spite of Sully? I think it's pretty well-known knowledge that Sully is not one of Potter's biggest fans and didn't really appreciate him, didn't fancy him previously. For whatever reason, whatever pressures from whatever direction, he's definitely bowed and swayed to appoint him. I think if it's some
had a hell of
people's
a lot to do with that, Jeff.
sure, so he's been persuaded. That's fine, and he's bowed. He's not stuck to it and gone, "No way, I'm not having this."
There's
And
some
bowed.
improvement in his attitude is what you're
Whether
pointing.
he's reluctant or not about it, what I will say, I think it fits some people's narratives for there to be the eternal war at West Ham, and now because Sullivan wasn't Potter's biggest fan, he won't back him, and he'll want him to fail. And I don't think that's true. And I think come the summer, we'll see another 120, 30 million spent as the summer war chest. This is how Sullivan operates. He spends money in the summer.
This month.
Sorry?
Mainly because we haven't spent anything this month.
This is how he operates. This is how he operates.
Will be a bigger number in the summer, yeah.
Have a look at Sullivan. He spends money in the summer. He spends fuck all in January.
Yeah.
And this has just mirrored that, right? He'll spend again in the summer. I believe he will. I think it gives, we spoke about it earlier, I think Macaulay Potter identify their targets, go and get them in the summer. I don't think it's a bad thing. Others may view it differently and have a different perspective on it, but that's just my view.
Yeah. And, going back on the on the signings of this month, of this week, we've covered the James Ward-Prowse thing and Evan Ferguson, really. But what I wanted to say about the Evan Ferguson thing is that, with the exception of Calvin Phillips, I can't think of another January loan signing that we've made that hasn't been useful to us. Calvin Phillips being the exception to the rule. But, I mean, we all know about Jesse Lingard. If you're familiar with our loan signing of Victor Moses, that was the January signing, I believe. And he was very successful for us. And I really do believe that between him and Lingard, 2 of the greatest loan signings we've ever made. So I'm just hopeful that this loan signing with Evan Ferguson carries on in the vein that we've already had a long history of, not the most recent January signing that we made, you know. But I think Evan Ferguson's a completely different kettle of fish to Calvin Phillips anyway. Calvin Phillips already had some sense of status about him. You know, he had his own sense of status about him when he came to us. Whereas Evan Ferguson's under no delusions of grandeur. He knows exactly what he is. And he's going to fight to be the best he can be. Calvin Phillips never did do that, you know. So I believe this is going to be a successful 6 month loan for us, West Ham United.
I'm prepared to wait and see what he actually does in a shirt for us before I get too excited. But I hope it's successful, and I hope Potter could get the best out of him. Make West Ham great again makes a good point here. He says, I don't often give Sullivan credit, but he paid off Stuyton and backed Potter by paying compensation for Macaulay. And it's a fair point, right?
It's a great point.
You know, he's seen off Stuyton, right? And Potter was pretty coy when he came in the door when he was fielding questions around Stuyton. He didn't really, was very non-committal if you cast your mind back at that time. And then a week or so down the door, it was pretty evident that Stuyton was going to be on his way.
Yeah.
It's only because Sullivan fucks around for so long that he's only left the club today, right?
Yeah.
He should have been gone. If they were getting rid of him, he should have been gone. And Terence says, agrees with, I don't know if it's flawless or not, but make West Ham great again. He says, a great call. Budgie, I don't know about you, but I've drunk my drink. I'm getting a little bit dry. We've been on over an hour and a half. We've chatted about quite a lot, and we're down to the bottom of the chat. So unless you've got anything else to add.
The only thing I want to add is that I want to thank everybody that comes into the chat week after week. You know, the show is what it is, but without you lot, it's nothing.
Absolutely agree.
You know, thank you everybody for coming in, making comments. You know, the love you give us, it's great. You know, make sure you please, you know, hit the like button, share the stream or the channel details with your friends. You know, let's get the channel on everybody's playlist, you know. I enjoy coming on, and I want to thank you for that, Jeff. You know, brilliant.
Make West Ham great. It says flawless, not me. What happened to flawless? So, okay, make West Ham great again. Yeah. This looks like a pretty good comment to finish on. Ian says, well done, gents. Great chat as usual. Superb. And on that note, thanks, Ian. And I just echo what you've said, Budgie. Thanks to everyone for coming in, week out. Your contributions in the chat. We wouldn't have half as much to talk about if you didn't get involved. Yeah. Thanks to all of you, and we'll see you all next week. Until then, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.